Hi, my name is Njeri Mushiri, and I'm the founder and creator of Studioshop Kenya.
Hello, this is Carol from Atporium.
Hi, this is Kimeme from Atporium, and we are here for
the People Building Tomorrow exhibition.
Yes.
Yeah. Studioshop is basically a space that connects eco artists to buyers and create business systems that create an enabling environment for artists. So why I started Studioshop wasn't because Nairobi needed another gallery. It was primarily because the systems that exist are highly extractive. And on top of it, artists are supposed to create their work, they're supposed to shoot their own content, they're supposed to tell their stories, they're supposed to negotiate for themselves, manage their project, which is a lot for them. So that takes away a lot of the time that they should be focusing on creating their pieces. And because of that, most artists that are actually really good at what they do don't actually find the opportunity to explain their pieces and tell stories behind their pieces. So that's where Studioshop comes in, to create the systems that these artists need. So we basically tell stories on their behalf, we create the systems, we negotiate on their behalf, just so that they can purely focus on their craft. And the reason why we're doing this exhibition and why this exhibition is very important is because unlike most cultural spaces, this is a space or a room that is going to invite artists, designers, innovators, people in the space who typically would not be in the same room, but Studioshop is planning to do that. So if you're curious about culture, if you're curious about art, the environment, and what the future actually looks like in Africa, then this exhibition is the room where you should be.
As at Porium, we are very excited to partner up with Studioshop for this particular exhibition because it's something we're always interested in, different unique spaces for art.
Our role here is to help with storytelling. Storytelling is a very important part in every creative space, in every innovation space, and that is why we're here to help shape the language, to help tell the story visually, innovatively, and bring the vision to life on what Studioshop are really working hard to create a space for sculptors, for people who work with their hands, for creative innovators, and everything in between. And we're very happy to be part of the contributors.
My journey into sculpture was almost accidental in a sense because I used to be a painter, and that was sort of the trajectory that I thought I would follow for the rest of my life. Painting was what I had studied the most. It was what was called a major back then. And then sculpture I had kind of played with, but not taken very seriously. Until a few years after I'd finished my education, when I started kind of just exploring different ways of making art. And it started with stone carving. My mom was a farmer, and she was constantly building extensions and houses for her. She was a pig farmer. And at one point she had dropped a pile of stones somewhere in preparation for building an extension of one of her pigsties. And I used to walk past this pile of stones, and there's one in particular that caught my attention, which had what looked like an eye. In virtue, just the stone itself was a coloration, a mark. And I started thinking, if I was to remove this and that and that, so I got a chisel, just a regular wood carving chisel and a hammer, and I started just tapping away at this thing. And I very soon realized it was a very immediate process compared to the way I used to paint. Painting for me was always very agonizing. Which color do I use? And there's a lot of preparation in the way of sketches and so on and so forth. But when I finished my first stone carving, and this would be about February 1983, I realized that was so much easier. I wasn't relying on any sort of outside influence in the way of drawings or sketches. The concept just came through very naturally. And so I started another one, and then another one, and then another one. And so I started exploring much bigger pieces of more random shapes. And I always thought I'd go back to the painting, but and I kept all my brushes and my paints and everything. But after about a year of the stone carving, I realized, I mean, this is what I really enjoy doing.
Okay, I've been drawing for quite a while, ever since I was in primary. I think maybe class 1, class 2. But I never took it seriously until I was after university. After I finished high school. That's when I started really sketching and drawing a lot. I used to draw, you remember when we were in high school and we used to send letters to pen pals, like different high schools. I remember I used to be contracted by my friends to do the cover heads for their letters when we were in high school. So yeah, I can say it started from there. But I really took it seriously after high school because I now joined architecture. So when I was in architecture, I now used to really sketch even more. And when I was in third year, I remember, that's when I really thought about the whole concept, what I want to do with my life as regards to what I want to be. I just sat down, wrote the things that you're seeing now, like the unique records, unique stationery, and other things that have not yet still been achieved. And I've never stopped now searching for those elements. Yeah.
My journey in art started years ago. After creating art for a while, just the usual of a kid, and then eventually taking it up as a degree in campus. And yeah, I did a bit of creating in school, like taking different fields of art, like painting, the usual painting, sculpture, printmaking. Yeah, that's how it all started.
And it wasn't until I traveled 6 years into my sculpture career and realized how much I was limiting myself by just working with one material. And so I started thinking about what would be easier, you know, and wood immediately came to mind. I thought wood is lighter, it's easy to find, I can work on a bigger scale without having to call 10 people to move my material. And so I started with after the 6 years. And the analogy I like to make is that I was somebody who was speaking only one language, which was stone. And when I branched into working with other mediums, it's almost like I was learning new languages of form. So I could now speak I could express myself in many more different ways, because I even got into casting. So I was working with plaster of Paris, I was working with concrete, I was working with resin and fiberglass. So it just expanded the ways in which I could express myself.
Interesting. I think it's always changing every day when you realize you learn something new all the time. Like all the prints I've created over time are not really similar, if I would say so. So I think every day I learn a new technique. I learn about the back end side of being an artist, which I used to hate so much, but I'm trying to embrace it more and more. So it's been a journey of learning and relearning and just, you know, adapting to the new ways of being an artist in this century.
And when I was in third year, I remember, that's when I really thought about the whole concept, what I want to do with my life as regards to what I want to be. I just sat down, wrote the things that you're seeing now, like the unique records, unique stationery, and other things that have not yet still been achieved. And I've never stopped now searching for those elements. Yeah.
Well, patience is definitely something that you get tried and tested pretty much on a daily basis. There are things you cannot rush, There are processes that are very sort of like, there's clear steps, and you can't kind of jump over any of those steps. So patience for sure is something you learn. And then it's also meditating, you know, there's almost a therapeutic element to it as well, you know, where you're engaging in something that is always a challenge. There's a lot of decision.
That's the main reason as to why I really do a lot of workouts, is because it really helps with the mental wellness. A lot of people don't have spaces. You hear when people talk about, as an individual, you need to have a third space away from maybe your work or your family, something that allows you to be yourself, something that allows you to release. So for me, that's my third space. It allows me to release tension. It allows me to at least be better. Yeah.
One would like to think that all the work you make is in some way significant. I always equate that to asking a parent, you know, which is their favorite child. You know, that I think some works are more successful than others. There's some works that almost make themselves. You know, it's almost like it's a very effortless thing to create some of my pieces. Some others I have to struggle, I have to put them away, come back to them after a while, and kind of work my way through some areas where I'm having some sort of, I can't quite decide how I want the work to go. And each of those challenges gives each work sort of a uniqueness to it. There are no two pieces that are quite alike.
I think the self-portraiture pieces, I don't know, they're just different. I love patterns most times. I feel like my work is usually whimsical most times. So it's usually plants, mushrooms, patterns. But I don't know what led to the self-portraiture pieces, but it's very, very different from, like, you'll find me creating chickens, mushrooms, whatever. But the self-portraiture series has been very personal in such a way that it's my own life. I feel like I document my own life through the self-portraiture pieces, and it's still an ongoing series. Yeah.
I've come to realize that we really underestimate the power of music. And when we started Unique Records, at least, I think it's been a year and a half ago, I came to now realize how music is very powerful in this sense. Music is a snapshot of time. It's a snapshot of time of our own emotions. Every song encompasses a certain emotion. It has a lot of power, it has a lot of control over who we are, how we perceive our world and our relationships. And I wish we can take it more seriously, especially in this country, because I think there's a lot of talent that is untapped. Yeah, and it needs to be showcased. And that's the purpose of Unique Records. Yeah.
That idea of imparting knowledge to another generation for me is very important. And most of the people I work with are much younger than me. It's like I've been doing this for a very long time. And it's kind of a legacy making as well, you know, because when you show somebody something, what you want them to do is then take it and make it theirs, and then take it to the next level. And for me, the satisfaction is in knowing that I was part of that process. You know, their success is my success.
Like, let me talk about the self-portraiture pieces. So I randomly take photos of myself at any season of my life, whether I'm happy, I'm sad, whether I'm going through seasons of joy, anger, whatever. I randomly take selfies, or I tell people to take photos of me. And I use these photos. So once I've taken the photos, I get my MDF boards. I print out the photos, probably A4 or A3 size. Once I print out the photos, I use a carbon paper to do like a transfer of the selfie to the board. And then once I get it onto the MDF board, I start carving out. And the thing is to carve it out entirely the first time, because I'm gonna do probably different layers of color. So most of the time I do a max of 5-6 colors. So I carve it out repeatedly and then print it out those several times. Like if it's 5 colors, it's 5 layers of carving and 5 layers of ink. So that's how I technically end up with a complete print most times.
Said architecture really influences my thought process. So in an architecture setup, you first start with a brief. What do you want to do? What are your objectives? Who is the client, or which kind of client are you targeting? That's a brief. Then you now go to preliminary sketches. What are your first thoughts on what you want to create? So you do sketches. Then you now go to conceptualization. Conceptualization and sketches go hand in hand. Then after that you go to CAD work. CAD work is computer aided design. So you take the sketch that you've done and put it in CAD so that you can be able to visualize it digitally. Then you do renders. Renders is now a digital variation of all that work you've done on CAD. Then now you do construction drawings or documentation. So construction drawings are the actual drawings that you'll cut out in a machine. Then after that, you now assemble. Then you present. Yeah. So it goes with the same steps of the architectural process.
As you're creating your work, you're sort of seeing it all over the place. Specifically with sculpture, storage is always a bit of an issue. So you'll have some pieces in one place, some pieces somewhere else. So just the act of putting them all in one room, like having and looking at them sort of as a collection, was always has always been, I think, a very interesting experience, because they are now, in a space where you've got the lighting, you've got them sort of presented in their best way possible. So that's very, there's a lot of satisfaction in that. And then once people start engaging with your work and you're there for the experience and you're having conversations and people start to tell you what they bring, their own experience to viewing your work, that's always very interesting as well. When somebody's telling you about your work and you're going, wow, I never thought of it that way, So you start to see it from a very different angle. So, and then of course, there's the gratification of people who like your work well enough to want to take it home with them, and that transaction.
Unique has several branches. It might appear small, but at least I have different things that I'm currently doing. So currently we're working on laser art pieces, laser engraved and CNC cut artworks. And we will most likely have a showcase on Sunday, on the 28th, and I'll showcase, we've been having a concurrent series of animal heads, and in this setup in our country, the most significant animals are the big five. At least we have the privilege of having the big five in our country. So I decided to take the emblems of each head of every animal and at least try and make a version of them using wood and CNC and laser cut technology. So there's one here. This one is called Mufasa. So Mufasa just to mean inspired by Lion King as the king of the jungle. So we'll be making Mufasa. There's Tembo as the biggest land animal, which is the elephant, and we'll also have a flamingo head. And the flamingo is to represent love between the union of two souls.
I think there's definitely more interest over the years as long as I've been doing this. And the best part is that the interest is from our own sort of local audiences. And I think to me it's sort of gaining momentum. The number of people who are looking at art from a different perspective in terms of how, even the value of the work, people are not so shocked anymore when they're told a painting is 200,000 or 300,000 shillings. They begin to understand what goes into the making of that artwork. Whereas, 10, 20 years ago, if you'd asked for that kind of, people would have thought you are completely mad, So it's all part of art on a global stage, and there's a lot of cross-pollination, if you will, There's a lot of Sudanese artists, there's Ethiopian artists, there's Ugandan artists that are kind of within our circles. So there's lots of conversations happening there. And then artists, since the start of sort of social media and being on the internet, have a much wider sort of exposure in terms of what they're showing to everybody from South Africa to the rest of the world. So, you know, we have artists who are pretty well known in galleries now, like internationally. And the more that goes out there, the more it kind of shines back a light to the Kenyan art scenes. Because people go, this artist is from Kenya, what else is going on over there? So you find people being drawn to come and find out. And that's the way that kind of exposure happens. And then with exposure comes people who are then like going, okay, this is something we need to look at, maybe invest in. And then it just raises the level of the value of the work, the quality of the work, and also the quality of the lives of the creatives who are making the work as well. And that's where we are right now.
I think we're on the cusp of the renaissance of both Kenyan music and Kenyan art, because as you've noticed, there's been an increase of people who now attend museum shows, for example. It has really increased. There's been an uptick of Kenyan concerts that have really increased also. So I think the Kenyan art scene is now very vibrant, and I think in the next 10 years it will be a whole lot more vibrant. So people like us, other collectives, they're in the right position, and I hope they can still continue the work that they're doing as long as they maintain their unique flavor, something that keeps them themselves. I think they can be able to ride the wave and the storms that come. But I think we're on the cusp of something. And I know a lot of people have realized and seen it, especially in the music and the art scene. Yeah.
I think I would say the future is more about artists putting themselves out there. From my own point of view, I could be wrong, but I personally, I have always felt like at some point I could be biased, I could be wrong, but we'll get to a point where galleries won't be as relevant as they are right now. Like, you won't really need them for you to, get to for Jerry to buy my work, or for anyone else across the world to access my work. And I think it's going to be really nice, because sometimes I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping, or maybe because I'm not in there. But yeah, I would love for you to get there where you just, with social media, with AI, with everything, I would love for the art industry to also evolve alongside all these things. Yeah, and I hope it works favoring more the artist more than anything else. Yeah. I hope they gain more from it. Yeah.
Working with materials, specifically wood, for example, which is kind of I think stone is easy to find. It comes out of the ground. I know where the quarries are. I can pick it up. But when it comes to wood, there's always a bit of a sensitivity, because this is a living thing. It's cut down, and as being aware of the environment and how important it is, it's always kind of important to. In fact, for a long time, even when I started wood carving, I always felt a little bit kind of guilty about it, and so I like to think that I'm taking a part of something that was living and giving it another life in a way. So that's an important part of. I wouldn't just go and say I want that tree cut down because I want to use it for my work. It's more about finding sources that are trees that had to be cut down for whatever reason.
I think for the longest time I've been wanting to hear the feedback from the people who watch our content, the people who interact with us, the people I meet, the people I talk to online. So I think in this documentary, which I've had a chance to at least showcase my artworks and my thought process, I would really want to hear the feedback of the audience. What do they think about our work? What do they think we can improve? because I think in a creative journey, you can only grow if you seek constant improvement. You don't know everything, and a lot of people can see your backside, and that is the best. Those are the type of people I would like to interact with. People who can give us feedback on places where we can improve, places we did wrong, places, different ideas on different thought processes. So that's what I can say for the audience. Then also the last thing is, in my journey with this thing, I've really tried to be the most authentic version of myself, in my failures, in my successes, in the things that I'm not good at, in the things that I'm good at. And I hope that the people watching can try to be the most unique versions of themselves, because everyone is taken, but you're only one you. So if you can try to be yourself, you'll always find your own tribe, your own thing to do. That's where the source is. Yeah. So all the best, everyone.
A lot. I don't know, I would love for my work to not just travel the world more, but impact more people positively. I would want people to feel like the good kinds of emotion when they interact with my work, or to heal them in a certain way. I don't know. Someone recently told me that she always, like, every time she comes here, she's been like a frequent buyer of my work, and every time she comes to my studio, she just wants to buy something all the time. Like, it's so relatable to women, and I love that, because I really want to lose that, especially in connection to women, because I'm a woman. I'll be biased a bit. So yeah, I want them to always just, I don't know, feel loved, feel seen, feel valued all the time. Like, I want.
Yeah, just, and I'm happy to say that I see signs of here and there pockets of, like, I mean, the Kenyan art scene, as far as I know, is alive and well. It's there's a lot of good stuff going on right now. I go into some spaces, exhibitions and so on, and I'm like, yeah, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. I mean, we could be more of us, I wouldn't mind, but so far I think we're good. Yeah.
Very nice.